Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we're buzzing with excitement about bees.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
I know you're all about that homesteading life, and let me tell you, bees are essential for a thriving homestead.
They really are.
We're diving deep into a podcast episode called The Buzz About Bees, Essential Allies for Your Homestead.
Great episode.
Get ready to be amazed by how much these little guys impact your homesteading success.
It's true. We often focus on the honey or maybe get a little nervous about stings.
Right.
But bees are so much more than that.
Yeah.
They're the unsung heroes that keep a homestead healthy and productive.
Okay, so the episode really emphasizes how crucial bees are for pollination.
Uh-huh.
But instead of just saying bees transfer pollen, let's get a little nerdy here.
Okay, I'm game.
Did you know that as bees are busy sipping nectar from flowers, they're unintentionally collecting pollen on their furry little bodies?
It's like they're wearing pollen pants.
Oh, pollen pants. I love it.
And then as they move from flower to flower, that pollen gets transferred, which basically allows plants to make babies, in the form of fruits, veggies, and seeds.
And that's where it gets really interesting for homesteaders like you.
Yeah.
Think about it. 1/3 of the food we eat relies on pollination.
Wow, that's a lot.
Without bees, your harvest would be way smaller.
Yeah.
And some of your favorite crops might not even grow at all.
Exactly. Cucumbers, tomatoes,
Maybe.
berries, apples, all those homestead staples depend on bees to produce a good yield.
And we're not just talking about quantity here. Pollinated plants tend to produce larger, more robust fruits and veggies.
For sure. So even a small population of bees on your homestead can make a huge difference in the quality and quantity of your harvest.
Now, we all know about honeybees,
Right.
but this deep dive also highlighted the importance of native bees, which I found fascinating.
Yeah.
It's not just a one-bee show out there.
Absolutely. Honeybees get a lot of the spotlight because they're amazing for pollination and they give us honey and beeswax. But native bees, like those bumblebees, mason bees, and carpenter bees you might see buzzing around, they're equally crucial for pollination.
I never realized how many different types of bees are out there.
There are tons.
That's so...
In fact, for certain crops, they can be even more effective than honeybees.
Wow. They give this awesome example of buzz pollination.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, bumblebees vibrate at a specific frequency that helps plants like tomatoes and peppers release more pollen.
Pretty cool, huh?
Mind blown.
It's all about biodiversity.
So essentially, having a variety of life in your ecosystem.
Right, which basically means having a variety of bees.
Got it. So it's not just about the food we grow, right?
Right.
This deep dive talked about how bees boost the entire ecosystem of the homestead.
Exactly. By pollinating wildflowers and other plants in the surrounding area, bees are supporting the growth of all kinds of vegetation,
Okay.
which in turn provides food and shelter for other wildlife.
Oh, I see.
Think birds, butterflies, and even beneficial insects that help control pests.
So it's like bees are creating this interconnected web of life that helps keep everything in balance.
Precisely. A more balanced ecosystem means fewer pests,
Right.
which means less need for pesticides, and ultimately a healthier environment for your plants to thrive.
I like that.
And because bees contribute to a more diverse plant life, your homestead becomes more resilient.
Resilient. How so?
Think of it like this. A diverse ecosystem is like having a diversified investment portfolio.
Interesting.
It spreads the risk and leads to greater stability.
Okay, so we've talked about pollination and ecosystem benefits.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about those sweet, sweet rewards, honey and beeswax.
Ah, yes. Honey is not only delicious, but also incredibly versatile. It's packed with antioxidants, has natural antibacterial properties, and can be used in so many ways.
Oh, wow.
You can use it in cooking and baking, or even as a natural remedy for minor cuts and burns.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And beeswax.
Yeah.
The episode mentioned using it for candles, lip balms, lotions, even furniture polish. The possibilities seem endless.
And let's not forget bartering. Both honey and beeswax can be valuable commodities within homesteading communities.
I never thought about that.
So by welcoming bees onto your homestead, you're not only boosting your garden's productivity,
Right.
but also adding another layer of self-sufficiency to your lifestyle.
So for anyone listening who's thinking, okay, I'm sold on bees, how do I make my homestead a bee-friendly haven?
Yeah, good question.
What are some practical steps they could take?
The episode offered some great advice. First and foremost, plant a variety of flowers that bloom throughout the growing season.
Okay.
This ensures bees have a consistent source of nectar, which is essential for their survival.
Sounds good.
Native wildflowers are especially beneficial because they're perfectly adapted to the local bee population.
It's all about creating a welcoming buffet for our buzzing buddies.
Right.
And I know pesticides are a big no-no, right?
Absolutely. Pesticides can be extremely harmful to bees,
Oh, no.
disrupting their foraging behavior and even causing death.
So if you need to control pests, the episode suggested exploring organic methods like companion planting or introducing natural predators like ladybugs or praying mantises.
Exactly. It's all about working with nature, not against it.
And speaking of creating a welcoming environment for bees, what about providing water? I imagine they get thirsty, especially during those hot summer days.
You're absolutely right. A simple, shallow dish with some stones or floating wood for bees to land on can make a world of difference, especially during those scorching summer months.
So let's say someone listening is feeling inspired and wants to take their bee support to the next level and try beekeeping.
Oh, wow.
What would you say to them?
Beekeeping is a fantastic way to directly support bees while reaping the rewards of honey and beeswax firsthand.
So if you're interested, the episode recommended starting with a local beekeeping class to learn the basics.
Definitely.
I bet there's a lot to learn. What kind of equipment do you need to get started?
You'll definitely need a hive, which is where your bees will live.
Makes sense.
A smoker is essential for calming the bees when you're working with the hive. And of course, protective gear like a bee suit and gloves is crucial for your safety.
That makes sense. But I imagine there's still a learning curve and a commitment involved in caring for bees.
Absolutely. Beekeeping isn't just a hobby, it's a responsibility.
Oh, yeah?
You're caring for living creatures that rely on you for their well-being. But the rewards are immense.
I can imagine.
Not only do you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor, literally in the form of honey and beeswax, but you're also contributing to the health of the ecosystem and supporting pollination far beyond your own backyard.
That's pretty incredible. Now, for those of us who aren't quite ready to become full-fledged beekeepers,
Yeah,
are there other ways to support these vital pollinators?
definitely. Even small actions can make a big impact. Planting native flowers, avoiding pesticides,
Okay.
and supporting local beekeepers are all ways to help protect bees and encourage them to thrive in your area.
It's all about recognizing that bees are an integral part of a healthy ecosystem, both on our homesteads and in the wider environment.
Exactly. And speaking of the interconnectedness of things, it makes me wonder, considering the interconnectedness of the homestead ecosystem, what other seemingly small changes could have a surprisingly large impact on its health and productivity?
Ooh, that's such a great question to ponder. It really makes you think about how everything on a homestead is connected. Even the smallest actions can create these ripple effects throughout the entire system.
Exactly. It's a reminder to be mindful of the delicate balance of nature and to approach homesteading with a sense of respect for how everything is interconnected.
This deep dive really opened my eyes to just how essential bees are for successful homesteading. They're not just buzzing around, they're the unsung heroes of pollination, boosting our harvests, enhancing biodiversity, and strengthening the overall health of our homestead ecosystems.
And it's not just about honeybees, right? We need to appreciate and support the whole diversity of native bees out there. They each play a unique role in maintaining a thriving and resilient environment.
You know, it's funny, I used to think of bees as just these little creatures that helped my garden grow.
Yeah.
But now, after this deep dive, I see them as this vital force that connects everything on my homestead and beyond. It's like they're weaving this intricate web of life that sustains us all.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And it speaks to the power of understanding and appreciating the interconnectedness of nature. When we see those connections, we're more likely to make choices that benefit the whole system, not just isolated parts of it.
So whether you're planting a bee-friendly garden, considering beekeeping, or simply spreading awareness about the importance of these incredible creatures, every effort counts. Even if you're not ready to dive headfirst into beekeeping, you can still make a difference.
Absolutely. Even something as simple as planting a few native wildflowers in your yard can provide a vital food source for bees and contribute to the health of the local ecosystem.
And if you are thinking about beekeeping, remember it's not just about getting honey and beeswax, it's about becoming a steward of these amazing creatures and playing an active role in supporting the delicate balance of nature.
It's a commitment for sure, but a deeply rewarding one. And, even if you're not quite there yet, you can still support local beekeepers by buying their honey and beeswax products. That's a great way to contribute to the well-being of bees in your area and get some delicious natural products in return.
Now, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier. Native bees, they don't always get the same attention as honeybees, but they're just as important, if not more so, for certain crops.
You're absolutely right. And you know what's fascinating about native bees is that they've co-evolved with our native plants over thousands of years, developing these specialized relationships that make them incredibly efficient pollinators. For example, those bumblebees we talked about with their buzz pollination technique,
Yeah.
they're essential for pollinating tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants.
Wow.
Without them, those crops would struggle to produce fruit.
Wow. I had no idea it was that specific. It makes you appreciate the incredible diversity of the natural world and how each species plays a vital role in the larger ecosystem. So what can we do to specifically support native bees on our homesteads?
Well, one of the best things you can do is provide them with a variety of native plants.
Okay.
Think about it, native plants have evolved alongside native bees, so they're perfectly suited to provide the nectar and pollen these bees need to thrive.
So it's like creating a native bee buffet. That makes a lot of sense. And are there any other ways to make our homesteads more inviting for native bees?
Yes. Another important thing is to provide nesting sites. Unlike honeybees, which live in hives, many native bees are solitary creatures that nest in the ground or in cavities like hollow stems or dead wood.
So leaving some areas of our homesteads a little wild could actually be beneficial for native bees.
Exactly. Resist the urge to be too tidy. Leaving some leaf litter brush piles or even just patches of bare ground can create valuable nesting habitat for these important pollinators.
It's amazing how something as simple as leaving a little mess can actually be an act of conservation. This deep dive has really shifted my perspective on what it means to create a truly thriving homestead. It's not just about having a productive garden, it's about fostering a balanced ecosystem where all creatures, big and small, can thrive.
Well said. And remember, when we create a haven for bees, we're not just benefiting those individual bees, we're creating a ripple effect that benefits the entire ecosystem, including ourselves.
And that brings us back to your thought-provoking question about the interconnectedness of the homestead ecosystem. What other seemingly small changes could have a surprisingly large impact on its health and productivity?
It's a question that invites us to think beyond the obvious and consider the subtle but powerful connections that exist in nature. For example, something as simple as composting your kitchen scraps can have a profound impact on the health of your soil, which in turn supports the growth of healthy plants, which in turn provide food for bees and other pollinators. It's all connected.
You know, it's funny how we often focus on the big dramatic actions when it comes to sustainability. But sometimes the smallest changes can make the biggest difference. It's like the butterfly effect, right?
Exactly. And the beauty of it is that these small changes are often within our reach, no matter the size of our homestead or our level of experience.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of bees, I want to leave you with this thought. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of bees, I want to leave you with this thought. As you cultivate a haven for bees on your homestead, consider how supporting these tiny pollinators ripples outwards, impacting the health and resilience of your local community and the wider environment.
This is a powerful thought.
It really is.
It reminds us that our actions on our homesteads don't exist in isolation.
Right.
They're part of a much larger web of interconnectedness.
This deep dive has been such a journey for me. I started out thinking about bees mainly in terms of their role in my garden, but now I see them as these incredible agents of connection. They're not just helping my plants grow, they're weaving a web of life that sustains the entire ecosystem.
And that web extends far beyond the boundaries of your homestead. Every time a bee pollinates a flower, it's contributing to the health and diversity of the surrounding landscape. It's helping to create a more resilient ecosystem that can better withstand challenges like climate change and habitat loss.
Wow. It's amazing to think that something as small as a bee can have such a big impact.
It's a powerful reminder that every creature, no matter how small, plays a vital role in the balance of nature. And it's a call to action for all of us to do our part to protect these incredible pollinators.
So what can we do to make a difference? Well, we've talked about planting bee-friendly gardens, avoiding pesticides, and even considering beekeeping. But even if those options aren't feasible for you right now, there are still plenty of ways to support bees.
Absolutely. You can support local beekeepers by buying their honey and beeswax products.
Great idea.
You can advocate for policies that protect pollinators.
That's a good one.
And you can simply spread the word about the importance of bees and the threats they face.
Yeah. It's all about raising awareness and inspiring action, right? Because even small actions, when multiplied across a community, can have a ripple effect that creates positive change.
Exactly. And remember, supporting bees isn't just about protecting these fascinating creatures, it's about protecting the health and well-being of our planet and ourselves. We depend on bees for so much more than we realize, and it's time we give them the respect and support they deserve.
Well said. This deep dive has been truly eye-opening. I've learned so much about the fascinating world of bees, and I'm feeling inspired to take action to protect these vital pollinators.
Me too. It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you,
Likewise,
and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired as well.
to all our listeners out there, remember, even small actions can make a big difference. When it comes to protecting bees, every effort counts. Let's all do our part to create a world where these amazing creatures can thrive.
Because a world where bees thrive is a world that thrives for all of us.